I'm here to tell you today how to start investing and what types of things that you can do right now. I feel like there's a lot of people in the world who, at least when I first heard about investing, would tell me, oh, you need to start investing right now. You need to start investing before you've hit your high in your career, or else you're not going to be able to make all the money that you possibly can. Investing is powerful and it can do really great things for you. And you know what? I totally believe them. And you know what? I still believe them. But here's the thing. I was always wondering, well, that's all great, but how do I invest that money? Where am I going to get that money from? And what should I even invest that in? And so today I'm hoping to have a little bit of a conversation with you on what I've learned and what I have applied to my life and what you can apply to your life to be able to overcome those challenges or those questions that you may be having right now. So the first thing that you've got to look at is where your money comes from. And most people, their sole source of income comes from their salary or their day job or their hourly wage. And every single month they live from paycheck to paycheck, making every single payment that they can and just living through life like that. And they just spend every single month just trying to get by, just go through expense to expense. So the last thing they think of is having any kind of extra money that comes out of their pockets to invest. So they're like, how am I ever going to invest right now? So you ask, Marty, I've never had anybody talk to me about investing and why it's so important. Well, let me tell you why investing is so important. To start is just think about it. Right now, you're probably living your life just making your single income day by day, working very, very hard to hopefully get your next paycheck, get that next raise, or pay for that new car or boat or whatever that you've been saving up for. And there's a lot of times people will think, boy, if I only had enough time in the day, I could be making more money than this, I could be working harder, making more money. Or the other thing is the other side of people is like, I work way too hard and I want to be working less for the same amount of money. Well, the problem is, in both scenarios, you don't have enough time in your day. One scenario, you don't have enough time to do more work, and the other scenario, you don't have enough time to do the work that you're currently doing because you don't feel like doing it. The simplest way to explain what investing does for you in this situation is to say that every single dollar that you invest is a dollar that becomes a little tiny worker for you. What it does is it goes and works for you day and night to bring you home money without you doing any extra work. All you have to do is assign this dollar to go out and do the work for you. That's a beautiful thing. It's free work. It's just hiring someone to do your work for you. It's something that will work for you day and night. So whether you're awake or whether you're asleep, it's just something that all of a sudden you just wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I just got another paycheck. I didn't even do anything for this. All I did is told this dollar to go work over there. And so that's what investing is. And now, obviously, like the real world, there are some jobs that pay better than other jobs. There are also some jobs that are riskier than others. And so these are all things that you need to consider when employing your dollars to work for you in investments. And these are all topics that I'll get to in future videos. But for now, I feel like that's a really good sum up of what investing is. So the most basic way to start investing is to take money that you have from your income. If from time to time you actually have some extra money left over, you take it and instead of spending that on any of the extra things that you have in your life, in the entertainment or anything like that, you take it and put it into investment. So things that people commonly invest in are things like their 401k or real estate or mutual funds or the stock market. And those are all really great things in their own way. And again, in future videos, I'll talk a little bit about what it's like to invest in one thing or the other and why it might be better to invest in one thing or the other. Ultimately, though, it all is up to you. You get to choose how you want to employ your dollars and what you think is the most efficient way for you to be able to make money off of those little employees that you are putting to work. So that's basically the best way to get started with investing. And investing, especially when you start, can be risky. And so there are some precautions that I recommend taking before you start taking all of your money and investing in a single stock and then just blowing it all when all of the stock market comes crashing down. The first thing that I recommend doing is building up an emergency fund. An emergency fund is exactly what it sounds like it is. It's a pile of money that you have set aside so that you can use just in case there's an emergency. All of a sudden you have a car accident, you need to repair your car, or the tires need to get replaced on your car, or there's something on your house that you need to repair. Or if you're like me, if you haven't been going to the dentist as regularly as you should be because you figure I'm brushing my teeth every day and flossing and doing everything I should, then you find out you have a root canal, then you're going to need to dig into that emergency fund. And if you have that emergency fund, all of a sudden you're stuck having to go into debt. And so the best way to avoid something like that is to do the same thing that I've done, and is implement an emergency fund. And how much money should go into that emergency fund? Well, I recommend saving up about 6 months worth of expenses. So what you need to do is you just need to look at how much money you spend every single month on average and then multiply that number by 6. And that's how much money you should be putting into your emergency fund. And now that number for expenses, that needs to include your mortgage, your rent, your food, your utilities, any kind of regular payment for insurance or for your family or anything that comes up month to month, so that if anything were to happen, like for some reason you lose your job that you have or anything else comes up that would be horrible, the idea is that you would have enough money to last you 6 months while you're able to find replacement income for those important things. But now you got your emergency fund done. I'm assuming that you don't have any debts and you're wondering, okay, now I've got this extra money, what do I do with it? You got to find a way to invest that money, because that's the next step in making more money for your life. Because the cool thing about investing, it makes you more money, and your income will be able to grow even bigger and grow even faster. You can invest that money in several different locations. You can invest it in a 401k. You can invest it in the stock market. You can invest it in a mutual fund. You can invest it in real estate. You can invest it in that business that you've always been wanting to start on your own. You can invest it in that business over there that you think is a really good idea, and they're just needing some more money and they're promising to pay you back some money for that. These are all great ideas. But there's a huge caveat. A lot of people, when they first invest money, are really afraid. They're like, what if I lose it all? Maybe I should have just been putting all of this money in savings all along. And that's a real valid concern. So I want to specifically talk with all of you who are in that boat, who maybe have a very conservative mindset of just like, I'm just really afraid to let my money go anywhere and not do anything with it because it could all be gone, and I just like having big piles of money and everything. First of all, that's a terrible idea because of inflation, and inflation is always happening, so therefore your money is always losing value. The longer you hold on to it, it is actually decreasing in value. But that's for a different topic in another days. But what do you do to conquer that fear? Do you just say, well, just go do it and you'll find out that everything's okay? And actually, yeah, that's actually the best way to do it, is just to go do it. But there's still some people like, I'm not sure, like, that's not the first step I want to do. I worked hard for this money and this is my money. I'm going to tell you that's a valid concern. And so I have a few tips to overcome that problem. So my first tip is to use money from a new income source and using modern day technology to bring in more income for yourself. You've got all these amazing apps out there. For example, you've got apps like Uber or Lyft, Grubhub or DoorDash, or even apps like Airbnb. These are all apps that you can have and make money from while having your job on the side. So that is all money that you can earn with the thought of it's money that you didn't have before, and so it's money that you wouldn't be afraid to lose. And that'll be really easy to invest. And that's actually something that I've noticed with many successful entrepreneurs in the world. Many of them were going through their businesses and they were acting with the thought that, you know what, it's okay if I fail because I know what it's like to be without this money. And so they're able to go as hard as they want, be as creative as they want, and be as successful as they want without fear of losing it all. And with you, in a way, you're creating the same situation that these entrepreneurs had on their own. So with you making income from a source that you've never experienced before, an extra source, it should be easy for you to know what it's like to go back to life without that income in the first place. And therefore, you can invest it a lot easier. Another source of income that you can use actually comes from your paycheck. Every single year, something happens for most employees around the country. That is, they get a pay raise. And you know what your pay raise is? It's additional income. Income that you've experienced living without. It's money that you can look at that percentage of your raise and say, I'm going to take a piece of this raise and invest it every single month and learn what it feels like to actually invest. And that's actually a really good thing to do. So either bringing in money from one of those extra income sources, or actually any other kind of income source you can think of. If you're creative, you should be able to find that there's actually a lot of ways to make income in the world. And this is the best part about it. Once you start investing, no matter how little amounts of money that you're investing, the more that you invest, the more experience that you will have, and the better you'll become at investing. And the more comfortable you'll become at investing. And then you'll better know how to employ those dollars to make the most money for you. And so it's a really exciting thing. And honestly, people just need to get experience so they can start investing to realize how not scary investing is, how normal it is. And the best way to get an experience is just by putting money in. And if you are afraid to put money in, just get another income source. Whether it be a pay raise or working for one of those small apps where you can just work on some extra free time that you have, or just any extra money that you have from month to month, you need to put at least something in there, just a few dollars a day even. There's even great apps out there, like the Acorns app. It'll automatically invest money for you just on roundups from your purchases. It'll just round up from the next dollar and automatically invest it for you. And all of those things are amazing. So you can invest just even a few dollars a day or a week just to get started, just to get comfortable. Also, a great tool for beginner investors is to invest in things that are really safe, like mutual funds. They still can totally come down when the stock markets go down, but the best thing about mutual funds is that they're operated by people who have a lot of experience in investing, and so they're able to make those investment decisions for you. But like I said, there are lots of investment options out there, and really the first thing you need to do is just get experience doing it. And I'm going to be honest with you, there are going to be times when you fall flat on your face and you're going to lose some money. But there's also going to be some times when you make a lot of money. And you're going to be so happy that you did it. And the more that you invest, the better that you'll become at it, and the better that you'll be able to see those opportunities. And the more that you invest, the more you'll be able to learn what kind of information out there is good knowledge and what kind of it is trash. And it all just takes that first step, is investing that first dollar. So if you take anything away from seeing this video today, you need to invest. You need to invest in something. Get your feet wet. I don't care if it's $10 or $100, you need to practice. You need to get that money out there sooner rather than later, so that you can learn how investing works with the swings of ups and downs and what makes you successful and what does not. So remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss a video of how you can make more money in your life, become more financially fit and happy in your life, and who isn't happy with a little bit more money in their life. So anyways, good luck out there. Happy investing. I want to hear how it goes. Comment below on your investing experience, and I'd love to hear about it. Thanks.